Christians are Easter people. People who believe in the power of the resurrection over that of suffering and death. Christians are people of hope, and hope is more powerful than sorrow. In its early days, the Catholic Church in Toronto rose heroically to meet the challenges of its time. The Sisters of St. Joseph opened an orphanage for children. The Sisters of the Good Shepherd built a shelter for young women. For every challenge in its path, the Catholic community in Toronto gave a hope-filled response, rooted in love of God and neighbor. By 1913, Bishop Neil MacNeil faced a pressing concern as the social challenges became more complex. How can the church in Toronto work together as one family to distribute its resources justly to meet every need? The answer was to create the umbrella organization called Catholic Charities. Its mission: to support its member agencies financially, to help provide an effective outreach, and to maintain a distinctive Catholic vision and mission. This bold venture met the basic needs of the poor and marginalized in the Archdiocese of Toronto. But with the advent of the Great Depression, the Second World War, and other economic hardships, Catholic Charities had to adapt. New issues demanded a loving response. Issues such as mental health, immigration and refugee services, and assistance for people with disabilities. In 1976, Catholic Charities faced a crisis of funding. How can the Church continue to sustain its good works? This time, the answer was to create a fundraising appeal, Share Life. The funds raised annually by Share Life enables Catholic Charities to continue to respond with gospel hope. Today, the Archdiocese of Toronto is Canada's largest diocese, stretching north to Georgian Bay, west to Orangeville, and east to Oshawa, with almost 2 million Catholics. Catholic Charities continues to be the service arm of the Archdiocese, putting its faith into action in collaboration with its partners and agencies. By reading the signs of the times and keeping true to its Catholic roots, Catholic Charities is creating sustainable solutions for the most marginalized in our midst through our Church. Today, it has 21 member agencies in these 5 main sectors of service. Children and youth. Services that protect children and strengthen family life. Advocating for at-risk and homeless youth. Residential care for young women in crisis. Young parents. Mental health prevention and treatment services. Support, education, and counseling for young pregnant women and young parents and their children. People with disabilities. Residential services for men with substance abuse problems. Services to improve the quality of life of people with intellectual or physical disabilities and their families, including deaf and hard of hearing individuals and those with autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and blindness. Seniors. Accessible social programs and services for the elderly, including housing, rehabilitation, palliative and long-term care programs, home health services, and companionship. And for the fifth sector, with the largest population served, community and family services. Counseling for families, couples, and individuals. Assistance for those suffering from abuse or domestic violence. Services for immigrants and refugees looking to settle and integrate themselves into the community. Our faith rests in the great hope of the resurrection, which holds out the promise that in Christ, everything will be restored, that in darkness there is light. It is that knowledge that moves Catholic Charities and its 21 member agencies to contribute to the common good for all people, regardless of their faith and background. Even in the darkest hours, we can help our neighbors find comfort, peace, and hope.